The sun is almost set, leaving the bus to be shrouded in dusk. Karen's humming a song while driving. I found myself singing along in my head to that strangely familiar tune. The most beautiful performances are born from broken and ruined things. Ironic, the way the world works. Virgilius spoke, having noticed that I was looking at the driver's seat. Alas, they have not the privilege to fully appreciate the glee of their own music. Oh, how unjust that is. Karen, you look like you're in a good mood today. Karen nodded. Joy brings out singing. I see. Although, as far as I remember, you would often hum that song when you felt down. Karen has no such memories. Karen sings when she's happy. Virgilius' eyes seemed to evoke with a subdued shade of dark. The kind of hue that'd be picked right away if no one wanted to express solitude as a color. But it only lasted for a brief moment. So I decided to dismiss it as the vivid sunset playing tricks with the light. The world Karen hums now is one that lacks sound and color. She's going through a long tunnel with no exit in sight. I'm sure that, just like the history of my own life that I've forgotten, Karen and Virgilius must have their own threads of cruel reminders. Ah, pardon me. I believe that's enough of my personal stories, Dante. Your work is to manage your crew, not befriend this old guy. When I looked at his face again, that momentary hint of sadness had replaced with a faint smile. I gave him a few nods, then turned around to check on the sinners. Our bus passengers have had lifted spirits for a while now. It helped that they did what they were assembled for and secured a golden bough for the first time. All the sinners were busy talking about their exploits in J-Corp's district. You should have seen me show that card right there. Seriously, that was a real highlight. I'm starting to get sick of hearing the same story for the 7th time in a row. So let me change the subject. Where are we going this time? This time, we're headed to K-Corp's nest. District 11, eh? Jobs take me to all sorts of places I thought I'd never have to visit. It's the home to another great individual, and you were certain to find a souvenir shop there. I've always yearned for a limited edition figure set. Ooh, didn't it also have a restaurant chain famous for its hamburg steak? Life's gone much easier these days, hasn't it? Back in my marching days, all I had was a pinch of salt in my mouth. I know, right? Only food I could swallow during my voyage was canned soup that tasted like iron. Can't wait to try the steak, right, Ryoshu? Well, imagining the variances of blood color by region does make me salivate. Can't discuss anything with you. Hey, kiddo, what do you want to eat? Looking for someone to share tales with and have a sensible conversation, Roger naturally turned to Sinclair. However... Sinclair? What? Gosh, golly, what's wrong? He's turned pale. He's also suffering from hyperventilation and tremors. How long has he been like this? Ever since Mr. Virgilius mentioned K-Corp. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Because you did not order me to do so. Rassault stared at me like I was at fault for not doing the obvious. I just got an upset stomach. Sorry. Really sure you're okay? Now that I think about it. Faust, I'm noticing a trend where one of us has official reactions to the destination that Virgilius reveals. Additionally, when we arrive, it turns out the place does have a history with the person in question. Does that have something to do with the reason we joined the company? You just referred to the team as we. Huh? It's part of my mission to detect the slightest of changes. As for your question, while I can't tell you the reasons for recruiting sinners in detail, there'd be no point in denying that our destinations and backgrounds of each sinner are indeed related to a degree. Do all uppish snobs have some condition that makes them yap on and on about things that can be answered with a plain yes or no? Hysterion Proterion isn't always correct. Faust simply adopts the most effective mode of communication for the given situation. Hysteria what? It means that you are struggling to understand Faust because you're too uneducated, not that Faust is overeducated. Why you? Ugh. Ah. Just as Heathcliff approached Faust with his bat shaking in fury, Sinclair suddenly started throwing up on the floor. The bus finally quieted down after that. Things are over right now, and they're playing Roblox with my sister in the living room, so there might be some noise. Shortly after the situation with Sinclair was dealt with. By the way, you meant the back streets of District 11 when you said K-Corp's Nest, yeah? I missed pointing it out earlier since everyone got a bit excited there. I rarely speak, if ever. I know what I said. Gregor. K-Corp's Nest is where we're going. Huh. Alright, but if we're entering a nest... Indeed. There's an immigration process. I don't have a K-Corp visa. You only know about to tell me everyone else got one, right? What? Why are you looking at me? The solution is simple. C-I. And keep on G-E-R till we've reached the defense. In short, cider. Whatever that eccentric abbreviation means to Ryoshi, the sinners have learned to stop questioning it. Companies big as ours might get a free pass. Not to mention, breaking through using the method dear Ryoshi suggests will take ages. How must you underestimate a nest actively governed by a wing to say that? Oh, I see. No one's gonna take into account how much I'll suffer for that cider. Huh. Sadly, none of our sinners bothered to respond to me in any capacity. As Ishmael said, we'll pass the immigration without needing a visa. Limbus Company has backing from the shareholders of a wide array of deals. Oh, do you happen to know the shareholder of H-Corp then? They once personally visited our home because our younger sibling insisted upon having a red passport as a kid. Couldn't say. I'm merely a humble guide who wouldn't be in the position to know such a thing. Otherwise, the question doesn't seem like one that's really worth answering. How harsh. That leaves the route to the checkpoint as our concern. Thorough inspection means there are plenty of people looking for an easy way in, including those who take the pass by force. I hear several interlopers surrounding the bus. Well, have bus, we'll battle. Kaku? Sharon's Kaku parking. Alright, off the bus. Time to get expected. Ah, and let me add, just in case you're feeling inclined to your usual antics. Don't go around making a scene expecting things to go your way, because that will not be how it works in this particular place. I thought his words were pretty intimidating, despite the worries. We welcome all visitors to K-Corp's Nest open-heartedly. Please form an orderly line as you enter, and stand where the instructions indicate. The menacing and interrogative atmosphere can subdue the temper of any first-time visitors, and the sinners were no exception. I could occasionally hear Sinclair sniffling, followed by Roger and Gregor calming him down. Any of my questions, why were my head shaken sideways? Look here. How nice it is to see you all stay in line and behave, like a brood of chicks on an outing. Wait, why are you out here? What made you follow us outside the bus this time? Noticing my flustered reaction at the unexpected company, Virgilius opened his mouth. Because this is a nest, Dante. If one of you were to get in unexpected trouble here, well, Dante, the responsibility will be a bit too heavy for you to bear alone. When Virgilius put it like that, it sounded as if you're saying, you're not reliable enough to be sent without supervision. But I knew it'd be wise to keep this to myself. The line's moving quickly, so it'll be our turn in about 10 minutes at most. While all 13 of us need to answer immigration questions, we won't be able to understand Manager Dante, so what should we do? Ishmael seemed to have a habit of speaking quickly and being more inquisitive when she got anxious. I was just about to get to that. Listen up. The K-Corp official will only ask very simple questions to the passengers in this line, and your answers will be similarly concise. When the border official asks about the nature of the visit, say, I'm here for business on behalf of Limbus Company. Please refer to my work visa. Remember this exact phrase so you can recite it word for word. I'll take care of the rest. You just have to prove you're not here to cause trouble. If even memorizing that is too much of a burden for you, I suggest that you keep your mouth shut. You can present your employee card instead. Keep quiet and don't cause trouble. Easiest task in the world. I sneakily mumbled a sarcastic remark. I was worried Faust might rat me out, but thankfully, Virgilius was idly staring off into space, sparing me from his scathing commentary. Now, next up. If you have a question, make sure to first ask yourself if it's actually meaningful, and quietly raise your hand. Several hands were lifted, including mine. Rodion. Since this trip is for business, we can carry our weapons. Yeah? Correct. Next. Then, Greg's creepy crawly arm and Dante's Chi-Chi clock heads would get in a pass too? That should be the case. For your reference, our manager's head counts as a prosthetic rather than a weapon, which means it'd be approved even if we were a tourist visa. Powers to revive notwithstanding. Ishmael took the role of a model student and answered in Virgilius instead. I feel like something changed about Ishmael's attitude since the casino job. She seems to have decided to take matters into her own hands after I betrayed her expectations of my capabilities as a leader. Precisely. Gregor and I put our hands down at the same time. And, Ryoshu, put out your cigarette before you speak. I didn't raise my hand. Virgilius was doing his best to ignore Don Quixote's arms stretched skyward. But he finally caved and gave the woman with an adamantly raised hand the chance to speak. Fine, Don Quixote. What is it? For what purpose doth that barrier of glass serve? Following Don Quixote's finger, our attention was drawn to the glass wall stood in between the building. On the other side of that clear dividing wall were countless people waiting in line. That line slowed to a crawl. People are sat on the floor waiting for it to move. Looks like they've been here for quite some time. There are many armed guards as well, 3 times as many compared to this side. Most of the glass walls you find inside buildings are there for safety reasons. Well, simply put, that line's their back streets. Each nest handles immigration differently, but wherever it may be, it's super duper hard to get into another nest without a proper visa. Why do you think those bullies jumped us on our way to the checkpoint? They wanted our visa so they could enter the nest. A problem we are not empowered to resolve. However, that answer didn't satisfy Don Quixote. Whether it was the fault of the gloomy yet oppressive atmosphere of that area beyond the wall, or the disturbances happening in there, I couldn't say. Manager, it's our turn now. Huh? Right. The line moved at such a quick pace we barely had time to chat before it was our turn to answer the official's questions. Remember, when you're asked about the purpose of your visit, remind me one more time and I'll show Sangria to you and the official or whatever. Despite Ishmael's queries, our inspection was smooth sailing. Please state the affiliation and purpose of your visit. I've come from Limbus Company on business. Here's my employee card. All checked out. Next. From Limbus Company, business reason. Take a look at my card and all that. All checked out. Next. After our first dinner proved we were for as a breeze for the rest of us. The official asked the same questions in the same dry tone, took a cursory glance at our faces and employee cards, though based on their speed it seemed more like a customary gesture than an actual lookover, then let each dinner pass. Something's amiss over there. The glass wall standing between us and them was thick enough to block out sound. It was hard for us to tell what was going on through the wall. However, I could see what was happening unambiguously. Someone with cupped hands was being dragged away by security. And a small child was crying next to them, clearly scared and confused. We shouldn't bother. I don't know what happened, but I guess someone broke a taboo. Yeah, sure. Those impoverished vandals and their audacity to break the taboo of not stuffing enough cash in the right people's pockets. Am I right? Are you mocking me right now? Huh? What? Thought you didn't care. Guess someone's nigga's in a twist. I was distracted by Heathcliff loudly celebrating his first successful tease on Ishmael. Our usual suspects sprang forth at our least expected moment, yet again. Please state your affiliation and purpose of visit. I am come to liberate the weak and powerless! An emotion expressed for the first time on the checkpoint official's face. Flabbergastation. They looked Don Quixote with a face screaming that it was flabbergasted. Release them at once! Can you not see that they are suffering? Please state the affiliation and purpose of your visit. The official ignored her demand and parroted the same question. All the while, Don Quixote was getting more upset by the minute. And then, and looking through the transparent wall again, I saw the desperate child mouth a scream as the man was dragged away in handcuffs. Daddy. If you are unwilling to take action, then I shall myself! Who? Code Purple. Code Purple. Violation of Taboo K185 on site. Requesting thrombocyte. Repeat. Requesting thrombocyte. Veering away from inquiry like a broken record, the official spoke an intimidating immune response to the radio. Attention all personnel. Code Purple. Code Purple. Circulation Hall 2. Inspection Booth 14. Thrombocyte. Leukocyte. Blaring sirens accompanied the perplexing announcement while the thick metal gates shut around us. Should have smashed a skull in and carried on a bloody sack. I doubt that would have made much difference. Thrombo. Leuko. I believe they refer to platelets and white blood cells respectively. It must be fitting. It must be them. Fitting for K-Corp, I'd say. Looking in the direction Faust indicated, we all saw what she meant. Security forces wearing menacing uniforms staring at us. I've gotten used to this sort of situation, but it looks pretty serious. Indeed. We have violated a taboo of the wing, after all. It's not like anyone was hurt. Can't we just talk this through? Faust looked straight into my face. For Faust to face someone directly when she usually stares into the empty space as she speaks can only indicate one thing. I must have said something incredibly frustrating. No matter the wing, infringement of a taboo means. A loud explosion left Don Quixote dismembered where she stood. That lethal measures could be taken against the violator without warning. Looks like border control isn't willing to forgive us until they dismember the rest of the sinners. Armed security staff was surrounding us on all sides. You never cease to surprise me. You managed to wring out the last drop of expectation I had left for you. I'm keeping out. Pin the whole thing on her. Take responsibility. For what? I thought you'd accompany us to handle situations that our manager can't alone. I came with you to take care of inevitable problems, not have a pissing session. Virgilius casually pushed his way through the line of armed guards and leaned against the wall. He then crossed his arms to further drive home that he'll remain a spectator. Really just gonna watch from there? You won't sway me with that look, manager. I'm nothing more than a guide that none pay heed to. It would be impertinent of me to brandish my weapon. Well, to meddle one final time, K-Corp Singularity takes the form of healing bullets that restore most wounds in the blink of an eye. Suppose it could be compared to that ability of yours. Hey, wait. Completely ignoring my feeble plea, not that they could hear it, K-Corp security guards closed in on us. K-Corp Singularity. HP bullets. Any would-be fatal injuries we managed to inflict were healed away with a shot of those regenerative rounds. It was only a matter of time before the thread by which Heathcliff's patience was hung snapped. I can't take it anymore. This has got to be the most pointless fight in the world, can't you see? I told you, entering in conflict with the wing is an exercise in futility. Just didn't know the futility would hit us right away. The flesh drips as soon as it's moved. It is difficult to continue on with combat. Really? Art can be rubbish like this, huh? Ryoshu made the most pained expression I've seen from her, begrudgingly swinging her sheath around. Cuts and slashes will mend before even a drop of blood can spill for them. It couldn't have been a worse battle for Ryoshu to fight. Isn't there anything we can do? HP, or helipoiesis, is a bioengineered technology that allows for continuous repair of damaged or lost cells. One dose already lasts considerably long, so imagine what those who are in their nest. One dose already lasts considerably long, so imagine what that means for those in the nest who receive constant supplies. To put it simply, you can't reasonably defeat them in combat. Even Faust was shaking her head in despondency. Then... Mwahaha! In the height of chaos, I have arrived at last. A peal of overwhelmingly energetic laughter rang throughout the air. The figure approached us with terrifying force, reminiscent of a frenzied beast. Hey, what the? What's that thing running at us? ETA is 3 seconds. Manager, your judgment. I don't know, I'm not sure what to... Virgilius was the only one who showed no surprise. To be more clear, he was more displeased than unsurprised at this apparently expected arrival. Ah, there you are, K-Corp superstar. A jovial-looking man appeared amidst the chaos with an obnoxious laugh. Greetings, one and all. Feel free to share stories of the heroic feats you are to witness here, but photographs and more will require permission from K-Corp. Alas, I must attend a magazine interview in a half hour, so I cannot overlinger. I pray you to understand. Was wondering when you'd come. I heard you became a wagey serving away, said Free. I see you're shung as sharp as ever, dear fellow. I rushed here at once in response to Code Purple, and methinks your friends were the perpetrators. Not exactly friends. I hope you understand that I have nothing to do with the commotion. In that case, yep, I'm counting on you to give them a spicy lesson. What are you two muttering about? Don't bode well. Agreed. Remember, what stone did he come out? Well, well, appears some of you come from faraway lands. Right then, I shall grant you all the privilege of photography for this special occasion. He treats us like worshippers on the street. How dare you! Ow! Don Quixote, what's wrong? The man himself! We're in a hurry, so get this done within 1 minute if possible, and keep the clock head out of this. Prosthetic, is it? Right then. Make it 50 seconds! With a skilled fighter and talented performer, I could only watch in awe as he proved himself to be nothing short of a hero. Now look here once more! I'm sure our fans will love it! This glider is too damn strong. What did you just do now? Well, isn't that cute? Ugh. One after another, he made short work of the sinners. Virgilius watched the carnage with a pleased expression. It's about time they learned what happens if they kick up a ruckus in a nest thinking they can get away with it. Dante. You may not remember it at the moment, but at one point you used to be something of a bigwig, so to speak. I was? I just couldn't picture it. Right now, I'm just some powerless leader who bumbles in any emergency, constantly being chewed up, spat out, and ignored in the trash by my sinners. They even started treating me as the team's field medic. To think that this miserable manager used to be the respected leader of many sometime in the past. I felt a genuine desire to ask Faust for another way to recover my memories. However, your memory loss does not wholly excuse all the faults in your performance as a manager. I'm certain you understand. I thought of the staff at K-Corp checkpoint. They showed no pity for the family that we were about to tear apart, treating it as nothing more than all part of the due procedure. Although Don Quixote got us into trouble when she sprang forth to rectify injustice, I just know it would have haunted my sleep for days if we turned a blind eye. Seeing Heathcliff tighten the grip on his weapon to veins as he witnessed the disturbance. If not Don Quixote, I feel at least one of us would have intervened. The truth be told, I didn't do everything in my power to keep Don Quixote down. Virgilius isn't necessarily wrong. He says the blame rests on me for causing this. Taking back my head might not be for the best after all. Virgilius. Ah, dear. I've got to tell them to put the microphone next time. I'll take that you've gotten my back. Hurrah! 46.5 seconds. Another day, another heroic tale of justice written. Ah, looks like the curtains close. Time to rewind. After 12 rolls of agony, the sinners were all back in one piece. Massacre must have been humbling, so it feels rather strange seeing them this quiet. How's life been, Red Gaze? We've rarely had a chance to meet in recent times. Haven't shown up to the League of Excellent Nest-Dwelling Fixers lately either. Were you unable to read the dozens of invitations I sent you? Changed addresses. I don't have time to lick top grass just like you're doing. I don't know what happened between these two, but Virgilius is a bit hostile here. right? The difference in disposition between them is rather clear, isn't it, Dante? In what ways? Simply put, Mr. Siegfried can be described as a pro-wing fixer based on the views he's expressed. On the other hand, our guy Julius sought independence as a fixer. We believe that a fixer loses sight of their core principles the moment they become subordinate to an influential entity. He is someone who is strict towards those in power, after all. While speaking with Faust, I saw Don Quixote quake and approach Siegfried with shaky hands. She must have been honored to see him, after being mincemeat by his hands mere moments ago. Fan I am! I've collected figures sculpted after you, though I've yet to get my hands on limited editions. I set my heart on becoming a magnificent fixer such as you! Aha! An aspiring fixer. I have little time to spare, but more than enough for an autograph. Is that true? Then would you sign an autograph here? Slow breaths, Don Quixote. Attention. Code purple, dismiss. Code purple, dismiss. All codes cleared. Huzzah! That's a job well done. Now then, until next we meet. Leaping with tremendous force, Siegfried vanished into the air. Although there was a small delay, we did get the travel permit in the end. Virgilius returned to the bus in the meantime, or perhaps he only got off knowing we'd run into that Siegfried. He looked rather upset as he walked away, but no one seemed to care that much. Clueless to the surrounding frigidness, Don Quixote was happy as a clam, caressing the sheet of the paper autographed by Siegfried. I must be caught in a dream. Manager Esquire, will you pinch my cheek just once? Just as I was about to give the blissful Don Quixote a word when we walked out of the border checkpoint, an armored vehicle stopped before us. A newfound foe, bold of them to challenge us right in front of the Nest checkpoint. This vehicle's from LCC, Clearance Department. Following Faust's plain reply, the vehicle doors opened. Ah, geez, what took you so long? We had to cycle 3 laps waiting for it to be over. A couple familiar faces appeared out of the car. Effie and Sod. Even though their outfits had changed, their faces were greased with just as much confidence and poise. Oh, people from the before team, eh? Something about you looks different, I've got to say. That was the disguise we had in order to infiltrate the casino. It was ultimately useless, though. Still got that sharp tongue too, huh? My chest ached a little at the thought of the harmonious cacophony that was our last operation. Sod. You see that hand on their clock trembling? You'll make him cry. I was just being playful. While you had much room for improvement in regard to skill, I have made up my mind to admit that the LCB department has its own character. In spite of the rough path we took, it sounds like we did leave a positive impression on the two. The before team was supposed to be on site at this hour, wasn't it? The others should be there already. We decided to wait for you because we had useful intel to share. In any case, you cared about us, right? Do we have a couple new fans knee-deep in our charm? You know, something like the sort of food that's cooked from gassy ingredients, but the end result's a pleasant surprise? Yep, had a lot of that in the battlefield. Miserable to swallow, but somehow memorable. What kind of food have you two been eating? By the way, what's the intel you were going to share with us? It's about our target location. Seems no other factions occupied the place already. We're putting in more manpower than usual as a result. But there's yet another swarm of gadflies tried to fire opportunity. As Otis pointed out, we weren't new to encounters against a group of foes drawn near the Golden Boughs. For our first mission, straggling soldiers from G-Corp took shelter in the abandoned facility. And our second, a variety of gangs inhabited the casino. Unfortunately, our opponents this time will be crummy no-names like before. We took a peek at the immigration inspection records and found that some N-Corp was bashed at a legion of employees a few days ago. Same destination as ours too. From N-Corp? Though this wasn't officially disclosed activity, seeing that K-Corp let them pass means they might have made a deal under the table. Which, if it's true that N-Corp has sent staff in advance, then the journey won't be a smooth one. See, I'm worried we might make enemies of several wings as we go on. In the long term, conflicts of wings will be an unavoidable step in the process. Judging from the fact that N-Corp hasn't made its motion officially known, it could end as a simple conflict of interest. Furthermore, We can't discount the possibility that it's not the golden bow they're after. Doesn't change the fact that we're convenient pawns for our higher-ups if they're around either way. Oh, right. I heard some morons caused a scene at the Gate Corp checkpoint. Did you guys see who they were? Rumors travel with such haste. 'Twas as though a sighed Rocinante. Don Quixote hung her head, possibly in embarrassment. Perhaps she's finally starting to learn that her reckless actions have repercussions. That, or I'm mistaken and she's glad more people know of what she's done. Shame I missed it. Not the kind of spectacle you see every day. Really, who in their right mind would mess with the wing at a border checkpoint unless they have lives to spare? Please don't tell me. Come on, we don't have much time. We should get going. Ah, dear. Mr. Virgilius is nowhere to be seen again. Oh, him? We went back to the bus first. What a pity. I didn't want to miss my chance to say hello. We'll leave an impression on him next time. Mark my words. I'm planning to ask him if we can join the team in your stead. What? That's the reason you wanted to meet him? That wasn't entirely a joke. See you at site then. If you can get there in one piece anyway. Pouty Karen and the cold stare of Virgilius awaited us on the bus. The air was heavy with a sense of oppression, leaving little room for light-hearted jokes. You're late. Karen counted to 100 and you still didn't come. Karen. She seemed to have a few more words ready to be flung in that icy tone, but Virgilius put a hand on her shoulder and gave her a glance. Berg, Karen will remember this. Sorry about that. I'll buy you something sweet later. Karen sat in the driver's seat without further complaint, and Virgilius slowly turned to us. If there was one thing the sinners and I were good at, it'd be sensing imminent danger and making way. Dispersing from the group, we scuttled away into our seats, leaving only Don Quixote anxiously standing in the aisle of the bus. Let's hear your excuse, Don Quixote. I could not turn a blind eye to the weak being persecuted. No. Wrong. My vision couldn't follow what happened in that instant. I have nothing to blink, so it shouldn't have been possible for me to miss a moment, and yet... When I caught up with the situation, the first thing that came into my sight was Don Quixote brought to the ground, shoulder trampled under Virgilius' shoe. I asked for an excuse, not a justification. This isn't the first time, either. Don Quixote, you're responsible for 3 separate incidents already. That's 3 separate times you've jeopardized our work with your deranged behavior. What do you think? Speak. While mine own actions did inconvenience my colleagues. Ah! Don Quixote's pained groan grew louder, but no one stepped in. Of course, she was being punished for her own actions. But more than anything, it was evident that disrupting this wasn't going to make the situation better. I was asking for your thoughts. Why do you not understand this? I was speaking only to be interrupted! What you should have said was at the get-go an apology, Don Quixote. Anything you'd add should be an elaboration on how you plan to improve your conduct. What unjust... Ah! Thou art demanding a specific answer out of me! Don't you know? The company already has the correct answers for its employees. The questions are only asked to see if you can get it right. You're sorely mistaken if you believe our company is sincerely curious about your input. If the company insists so, then I'm sick of this. Virgilius kicked Don Quixote, tossing her to the floor. Then, gripping her fall by the collar, I'm sure you remember what went down when you joined. I hope you haven't forgotten the deal we struck that day, Miss Don Quixote. Virgilius' eyes glistened with a much brighter hue of red than usual. Staring directly into them, Don Quixote soon gave back a nod without another word. That's all. Back to your seat. Watching someone who usually exuded pride and confidence quickly shift to a discouraged, crestfallen state doesn't exactly make for a pleasant sight. Though, the deal that got Don Quixote to go silent simply by bringing it up. It makes me wonder what it's about. The same goes for the rest of you. A company isn't a platform for fulfilling egocentric dreams and preaching big ideas. If you would still go against the terms of your employment contract to act unprompted, consider the consequences before you do. You'll spend a several grueling period of being unable to escape, not through death, nor through struggles with severance. I guess getting help from that guy, who is it, Mr. Zack Frischer, whatever, must have ruffled his feathers. It's Lord Siegfried. Sheesh! Mission hasn't even started and we already got a scolding. Have some tact before you act, okay? Oof. I knew this day would come sooner or later. We shall act careful from now on. Are you two birds gawking at me, looking to get stoned? Fine, I got it. With the conflict sorted out, the bus finally departed. Looking out the windows evoked a strange feeling in the passengers. Check out those people. They look like they haven't a care in the world. This is way different from the roads we've been through. Aha! Guess it's our manager bud's first time traveling in the middle of the nest. There's a world of difference between the nests and the back streets. Besides, each nest has its own cultural heritage. Attention, all. Our destination is towards the town of Call, situated in Nest K. Investigation revealed that a passage connected to a lobotomy court branch exists somewhere in that village. As soon as the name Call was mentioned, Sinclair lapsed into fear once again and started trembling, as if something were coming after him. But, as you've told me, a third party has occupied the area surrounding that branch. That's why I requested an additional recon operation for clearance. Preliminary Observation Unit 3 from the before team has been dispatched. Mr. Effie and Miss Salt should be with them by now. We'll receive a report from them once they get a good grasp of the situation. Shortly afterward, the bus entered a quiet woodland path leading to the village. Lush green trees rarely found in the back streets began to decorate the scene, providing a comforting sight that was soon disturbed by something odd. I could see an ominous billow of smoke rise in the distance. Why is smoke coming from Sinclair? Karen. Turn. Evasive maneuver. Rumble tumble. The bus made a sharp turn to the left shortly before a giant nail flew in and noisily embedded itself in the back window. What the hell was that? I almost kicked it. Though I hadn't run a test with a projectile at such velocity, this does suggest that the windows need to be reinforced a little. That was aimed directly at us. They must be the faction the before team warned us about. The employees of Berg. Meppy got hurt. Karen's sad. Doesn't look like they'll stop anytime soon. Off of us. All. As we got off the bus, a group stood in the way, clad from head to toe in rusty armor with faded coats of white. Halt. You may not use this road. You should have said so in the first place. So what about our windshield? You're rather rude for someone to attack us without warning. Isn't it at least common courtesy to state your affiliations? We are Inquisitors. We are the nail that fixes the blasphemous, and the hammer that strikes down the sinful. So, end quote. That's one convoluted way to tell someone you're an employee of Nagel and Hammer, also known as Nail and Hammer. You shall not proceed, as we are into the middle of cleaning heretical dissidents. Heretics? Hey now, we just want to pass through. We're not looking for any trouble. We're on the tour. That's right, it's a tour bus. Labeled as tourists, all of a sudden the Sinners exchanged looks in silence. To prevent another disastrous first impression, Gregor was doing what he could, even though his efforts fell flat for the most part, to gently appease the armored crowd. Accompanied by an attempt at the kind, harmless smile the tourists were wearing. Greg, I've been stuck in such a job of the mind, but are you the head to these kind of bits? It's not exactly it. The quivering corners of his mouth roused pity in my heart. In that case, you shall prove yourself to be untainted. Fine. Tell us how we can get on with it. The Inquisitor suddenly pointed in my direction. Behind that blasphemous behead that blasphemous traveler. Me? And kneel before our hammer as you consecrate their head to us. Such will prove that you are untainted ones, and your journey shall continue without hindrance. You will, of course, have to part with the defiled vehicles. Love to spew on, don't you, blokes? Oi, I know you think we are, but do we look daft enough to do as you say? Furious, Heathcliff was the first to quit playing as a harmless tourist. Heathcliff, you didn't have to. Proper trifling twits. You telling me to kneel? The Inquisitor, as was declared to us, nodded in response. Understood. Then I declare all of you to be heretics. With that, the group of Inquisitors moved into position at once, ready to attack. Getting back on the bus, Virgilius greets us by casually lifting a hand. Weren't they a little trickier to deal with than your usual foes? I kept saying we could dump them a lot faster if you lent a hand. And as I always answer, there won't be any point to this if I help you. Those people, they label us as heretics. Just what is their judgment based on? I think they were targeting me. Meg looked hammer, doing that values experience. Rassault muttered vaguely. Experience? Humans are made to have experiences and actions appropriate for their work. This is what they say. They told us to offer up the severed head of our manager. That means they're back. Did forget coming back like that to... Sinclair was almost having a fit at this point. Roger looked at him with pitying eyes, but there was little she could do about it. Berg, the sound box is being noisy. Looks like the advanced team has words for us. This is... Sod is... Give me that. Effie, this is the bus. How are things over there? You shall bear here your every sin and be pure. Effie? Was that Effie's voice? Or something else? No, actually, was that even a human voice at all? Whistles. Sinclair, what are you talking about? You heard the whistles! Right at the end, faintly. What's there now? It's her. That wretch is there, after all this time, to destroy the rest of our town. Calm down. Sinclair, what do you mean by whistles? And who is this wretched woman? She's waiting for me! That was a message calling for me! Resentful tears were streaming from Sinclair's face as he rambled. Hang on, there are people like the ones we met at the road up ahead. We should go back. What? Can't we just head back? I don't want to go. Let's turn around. Just hit the steering wheel and... Kiddo, what's wrong? What are you so worried you'll walk into? We shouldn't go. We'll all die. We need to go back. Emil Sinclair, don't be absurd. Otis was calmly flicking her wrist. I delivered a light blow. I delivered a light blow to the stomach to knock him unconscious for a short while. Nothing more. We're in agreement for once, it seems. I was this close to stepping in. I don't need cowards on my battlefield. Can't I throw him out the bus? That might be a bit too far. If you say so, Manager. Otis looked down at Sinclair with a displeased face. Even though he was the timid sort, he's never opposed to something so strongly until now. This unprecedented behavior of his bothered me. But I couldn't bring myself to ask him why, as he didn't seem to be in any state to tell me. Soon enough, Sinclair came back to his senses. He stared out the window with vacant eyes. The others are all out fighting. I'm sorry. I'll go join them. I can't keep dragging others down. Smoke that was faintly visible through the bus window covered the whole town. Ugh, what a mess this is, huh? By the way, don't you hear a familiar song from somewhere? Oh, yeah, I know this one. Used to hear this tune an awful lot on snowy days. They played it a bunch during wartime to raise their spirits. Did the exact opposite for me. These songs evoke various memories in the group. For me, I'm not sure. It's definitely familiar, but doesn't bring up any clear images in my head. However, I see a faint splash of feeling from deep in my heart. Maybe I knew this song before I lost my memory. The mist of emotions roused inside me, though it doesn't feel precious or warm. An ache. An inexplicable sting is what I felt. Right. That day. Snowy like this. That song was playing. The trees before us were decorated with grim ornaments. All sorts of internal organs and mechanical parts were hung from the branches, as if someone just put people's innards on display. Ugh. Is this going for a classic, but more kitschy if anything. There are no survivors nearby. Then, everything finally fell into place. It's just like... mic test, mic test, mic test. A piercing sound caused the group to cover their ears. Enjoying your knoll, everyone? The night isn't really silent, but it sure is holy. Isn't Christmas still a fair way off? You're right, it's not anytime soon. My name is Cromer. I'm a humanitarian who loves purity and the one who grips the hammer. I don't know how you managed to get here, but you're trespassing on private property. As you can see, this hallowed ground is undergoing our nailing judgment. I hope you like the decorations I set up. Well, let's just say that you just got lost. Turn back now and a fine will be all you have to pay. I'm feeling generous. Today is the Nativity, after all. Oh, before that, is Guido there? Here I stand. Good. Just in case, do you see any heretics over there? The massive man named Guido who'd responded to our turns to us. He intently stares into each of us until his eyes fall upon me. He gazes at me for a very long time. Although he's wearing his mask, those eyes of his, they froze us completely still, as if his glare nailed us to the ground. I see an impure one in their followers, and with them, the child you spoke of. Really? My Sinclair's back? Come see me, Sinclair. I'll be waiting at that familiar spot. I can hear Sinclair grinding and gnashing his teeth. He made a dreadful noise. I couldn't be sure if it was from hatred or fear. Take out the rest, Guido. Or should I myself? I wouldn't mind. I urge you to focus on hammering the impure, oh one who grips. Good, good. Let's keep up the purification. Now then, everyone, Merry Christmas! A number of Inquisitors gathered around Guido. He stands firm behind them. He's not making any movement, but his presence alone is threatening enough. An intense aura of hostility was radiating straight from him. That was a tough opponent. We should move before they come back to their senses. What a shameful thing to say. A soldier does not retreat before the enemy when the victory is in sight. Can't you save the military drill for a better time? Schmel's right. That's not someone we can beat easily. We will fall back. Otis reluctantly backed down. Sinclair, do you know what Cromer meant by that familiar spot? That's... well... Sinclair shook. He was seemingly overwhelmed with dread. I could also see teeth grinding anger in him that surpassed fear. Looking at him, a thought blossomed in my mind. You need to talk, Sinclair. Tell us what you know, and you'll prevent half the deaths we might suffer. It'll also raise the likelihood of our success. I'm looking forward to hearing something useful. I hope I'm doing the right things, Manager. Sinclair shook his head upon hearing my words, breathed in, and finally opened his mouth after some struggle. My house. That's where Cromer must be. So, you know that, bud? Bollocks, my head's pounded thanks to her shrill laugh. I met her at school. Oh boy, she's a friend of yours? Whatever's going on, sure hope you can talk it out. She's not my friend! Cromer killed my family. My bad. The prosthetic head hanging from a tree slowly turned to face us. Lights and sparks occasionally flickered within. Sinclair. Why did you return? Sinclair, are those your neighbors? Roja asked me while looking at the dismembered prosthesis. It looks like they were. I really hope that isn't the case, though. Sinclair replied, watching with a grim look at his face as their bare wires sparked and short-circuited. The robotic head soon stopped moving, only emitting discordant things. Then, a song begins to fill the air. Silent night. All the heads hung from the tree were singing the same song. The carol leaking through the vocal units of so many lifeless heads lands on the flame flow. Holy night. Clearer than ever. now. Prosthetic bodies are likely hearsay to them. Oh, sorry. If Kuros never know, prosthetic bodies are hearsay to them. Though it has been quite a while since prostheses were first introduced to the city, many people still find them foreign and alienating. Our town. Our town was called the holy site of Neske's prosthetic industry. Most of the residents worked in manufacturing high-end prosthesis components. Cromer's been keeping an eye on our town for a long time. So, was your family? Yeah. My father was the owner of a fledgling prosthetics company too. Is that why? No. The way I see it, attributing to a high-flown cause of any kind is giving them too much credit. They're just lunatics, consumed by madness and violence. It's very ironic Ishmael saying that. Ishmael asserted to him. After a while of staring at the Christmas trees decorated with his neighbors, Sinclair turned to me. Manager, I have a question if it's alright with you. What is it? Well, how does it feel? Feel? Yeah. I mean, how does it feel to have a prosthetic replacement for your head? I was taken aback since I've never had anyone ask that kind of question before. The issue is I have no way how I might have felt before I got a clock for a head. That's... Oh, it's, I'm not trying to argue with you or anything. That was probably rude of me. I apologize. No need, it's alright. Other sinners were a billion times ruder to me with their daily interactions, anyway. I'm afraid I can't answer that. I don't remember a single thing about my life before this clock. I see. I've always wondered what it feels like when there's something sitting where your head should be. My family said it's no different from wearing a hat or a watch. But I just couldn't picture it, no matter how I approached it. Now I'm the only survivor thanks to that. I'm sure the procedure seemed terrifying at such a young age. You don't have to feel guilty about that. That's not it. It's nothing like that. I'm afraid I'm not as innocent as you might think, Dante. Sinclair quietly hung his head. I racked my brains for an appropriate reply, but no suitable words of comfort came up. Only a pleasant sound of sparks and flames filled the street. Prosthetic bodies pile up like a landfill in the corner of the town. I could see that some of them are still conscious, letting out pained moans. The Inquisitors paid no heed. They strenuously jammed nails through each of the victim's chests, over and over again, executing their pure intent. I've surely pierced their heart, yet a pulse remains in their body. It must be patched with steel. Even the core of their humanity has been tainted by hearsay. How filthy, the disgrace of flesh and bone. The Inquisitor began carefully pouring a bottle of liquid over the prosthetic person in what looked like a solemn ritual. Judging by the pungent smell, it was most certainly oil. Imbibe the oil of humanity, ye heretical soma. Those who cannot return to the earth find solace in scattering to smoke. A lit match was thrown on the pile, letting rise a huge flame. With the sounds of sparks flying about, the air was soon filled with an acrid smell. It's not quite like the smell of burning flesh. This burning fire finally brings the crackling glimmer in those prosthetic bodies to permanent darkness. If this hellscape is their idea of purification, I'd rather stay unclean. Nagel and Hammer has always been devoted to scrutinizing the idea of humanity. Some criticize prosthetics, as they believe pain is a necessary component of the human experience. However, it never escalated to the extent of direct action that we are witnessing now. It remains to ask, how do you know so much about Incorp? I was once employed by Incorp. What? You used to work with those people? I have never worked with those specific individuals, but in terms of affiliation, you can say that I did. Come to think of it, this might have been the first time I've heard Mersal actively talk about himself. He would rarely recount anything related to him. Perhaps he felt it wasn't necessary to speak at all. Why didn't you tell us that earlier? You carry one of those freaky weapons then? Am I obligated to elaborate? The hell? Why don't you explain what makes you different from those nutters then? Listen, mate. As much as I'd like to call out Daphne at your clock face, I don't think they deserve to be on any I don't think they deserve by any means to be on the stake or chopping block. Those buggers talk big about purifying and all that, but all I see is a bunch of loonies who just need an excuse to kill, eh? Speak up, then. You like those screw-loose bucketheads? There was a time when I thought about such things, though I did not come to a conclusion. I want that damn conclusion now. You get up and butcher all the townsfolk if your manager just says so? Must I give an answer? That does not aid in us handling our work. An employee must follow their employer's orders. The terms Virgilius presented state as much. If the manager orders me to do such a thing, I will do it. I may provide my input if I am told it is necessary, but I do not have a habit of preempting my thoughts and prompting. Pardon? Are you rather twist? You have a chunk of metal for your brains like the folks here. I am 16% proteins, 60% water, 7% minerals, and so forth. I am clearly indifferent in terms of composition. Moreover, unnecessary heavy metals do not comprise any portion of my body. That is another difference. Heathcliff's face contorted with frustration. The salt was already an enigma, and he only felt ever more distant after this conversation. Now that you mention it, there's something I've been wondering. I've been thinking about whether Manager Dante should be seen as a human. What do you mean? What if, when dear Dante is speaking, it's actually the clock and not the person we know as Dante behind those words? Eh? You're trying to tell me we're being led by an actual clock? Good grief. You're reaching uncharted depths of idiocy for theories. I can't even be bothered to refute them. Don't misunderstand. I do like Dante with their clock-headedness. Honestly, same. Why don't you go finding your old head and stick with that one? I know it's perhaps not the case, but what if Dante's real head turned out to be super evil or something? Well, there's only one of us who'd know about our manager Bud's past. Gregor's eyes naturally fell on Faust. That's confidential information. Its access is restricted to the highest security level. And I get the feeling I won't be able to read it for myself. It's only natural. I have no idea who or what I originally was, so I had nothing at my disposal to refute Honglu's lighthearted accusation. Maybe he's right, and I am really just a clock. Even if I ask Faust, there's no telling she'll give me a real answer, and I wouldn't be able to discern the truth in such a thing either. There's even a slim chance that the real Dante is hidden somewhere, and that I'm just some advanced imitation trained to believe I have free will. In any case, sitting here and ruminating won't get me anywhere. Who knows? Maybe I'll mount this thing on the wall once I find my real head. Ishmael sent me a chastising glare for even suggesting something like that, but she had no choice other than to shrug. Well, it's true. Okay, what should we do now? If we move quietly, we might be able to pass by the other Inquisitors unnoticed. Dante, I'd like to apologize in advance. As you know, I'm not the most experienced with fighting like the others. Our foes might jab at me in the heart over and over for that. Will you bear that for me? Sinclair was trembling so badly it'd be pitiful for anyone to witness. I could tell he was desperately struggling to suppress his fear. It wouldn't be the first time Sinclair has died. Whenever he bit the dust, I made sure to bring it back. But today, he's newly asking for my understanding. He looks determined to confront them directly even if it means he'll die again and again. Feeling quite unlike fright a usual battle evokes. Maybe he's holding the kind of fear that comes with a certain courage. In that case, are you scared, Sinclair? Sinclair suddenly turned around and gave me a startled look. Did I say something weird? No, it's just, I was reminded of a friend who asked me the same question. Sinclair opened his mouth after a brief pause, his voice cracked. I agree with what Heathcliff said. Prosthetic head or not, you would have been the same person regardless, Dante. I guess the same could be said for my family. Thanks, Sinclair. Whew. It's nothing. I can't have you be too thankful to make you suffer by throwing my life away. Just as I realized I forgot to ask what he said in response to the same question his friend had. Sinclair had already charged into the fray. Sinclair's home was the largest mansion in the neighborhood, standing at the innermost part of the town. One could see from the distance that a huge flame was engulfing the estate. I took a moment to try and imagine what this town could have looked like during these peaceful times. To bring to mind the times when the trees we saw near the town still had lush, verdant leaves. How Sinclair would have been during those times. Or when everyone around him had died. I couldn't paint a clear picture of either happiness or despair. Nonetheless, I can only hope that Sinclair can brace himself for the misfortune he'll soon have to face. This is awful, to say the least. The courtyard that could have once been a vast, flourishing garden was now full of nails erected tall. A variety of prosthetic bodies were pierced by those towering nails, and the house was enveloped in ferocious flame, ready to consume everything around it. While everyone's attention was drawn to the prosthesis, Sinclair's eyes drifted towards the corner of the yard. The graves, they're dug up? Following his gaze, I could see the graves that were violated. Sinclair's expression alone was enough for me and all other sinners to guess who they were for. To execute the dead, this is nothing short of the devil's work. Father, mother, sister. The family he mentioned, that's where they should be resting. Halt. One uniform. Straight ahead. That whistling. I mean, it's just too funny when you think about it. Someone walked out of the burning household. Her laugh was simply sinister in every way imaginable. Why put so much effort into burying bodies that can't even rot? Am I right? Cromer. I'm sure you'll find him around here if you look hard enough. I do remember nailing those 3. Be a good boy and I might just tell you where they are. God, I fucking hate having to read that. Well, Sinclair, you've grown a spine coming all the way here. Enough of one to look at a few dead bodies too, right? Why? Just... why all this? Sinclair couldn't even speak properly. Where did our before team get off to? They've got to turn up at this point. Ah, Sinclair's got some buddies! Looking for the other filthy ratlets that snuck in here? Okay, watch closely. I'll turn on the lights, so open your eyes wide. Ta-da! Effie? Effie was barely breathing. His limbs had been cut away and deformed prosthetics were crudely lodged in their place. Effie! He was too mutilated to even speak a single word. In his current state, it will take around 2 days for him to completely die. And the hole piercing through him will only amplify his suffering. Then... Manager, I happen to know of a method to end a life with as little pain as possible. It's one that saw many uses. In fact, may I ask you to give me the order? I looked at both Gregor and Ishmael. They gazed back at me, and as if in acknowledgement, dropped their heads low and bit their lips. I understood what they meant. Rest in peace. The collar of Otis' clothes brushed against the wind. Then silence. Then it's broken by Cromer's roaring laughter. Ah. At the same time, I could hear something else break. Really, it's hilarious to watch you all care for each other so much when you'll meet the same fate anyway. Brings you back, doesn't it, Sinclair? Your face back then was real priceless. Cromer. You have to die. Yeah, I think that's the right way. You'll die by my... It was interrupted by the sound of the nail dragging across the floor. It's Guido. We thought we'd felled him with our best, but not a scratch was on his body now. It's as if all his injuries healed back in that short time. Seeing him walked up towards us in perfect condition, fatigued sinners. Rendered speechless, they all can muster from their hearts a deep groan of contempt. Guido, why couldn't you take out the others? Forgive my ineptitude, O one who grips. My incompetence allowed them to escape. You have to stay alert. You never know what's hidden under those cursed steel craniums. I shall keep your word at heart, O one who grips. Since the reunion's over, I'll be heading back. Cromer turns to walk into the burning mansion. Cromer! Get back here! I swear... I'll grab you with my hand and... Nope, Sinclair. It's always been the other way around. A long smirk dances across Cromer's entire face. It's hard to tell whether it's the violent blaze, or Cromer's vice that is consuming the other. And then... I am the one who grips. I'm not even gonna say anything, I think that's it right there. Hey, wait! Sinclair leapt forward to chase Cromer before anyone could stop him. However, he's blocked by the remaining N-Corp Inquisitors. In response, he swings his weapon with a tremendous force I never thought he could exert, crushing the head of the one who grabbed him. The Inquisitor collapses to the ground before even a gasp could escape their mouth. Sinclair would normally keep to the back of our group. This was the first time I saw him charge in unprompted like that. What the hell you been dawdling in the back if you could do that? I remember with clarity that I had ended your lives. I undoubtedly witnessed torn brain tissue spill through the cracks in your skull. And yet, here you heretics are, before me on your feet. You're not one to complain about miraculous recoveries. Guido examines me closely with his piercing gaze. Then, slowly nods as if his observation gave him the knowledge he needed. You there, one possessing the head of a heretic. You must be the false shepherd enticing this herd into blasphemy. He proceeds to nudge his chin at the nailed corpses in the courtyard. They committed the grave sin of entering the site of Halu's rites with their unclean bodies. Thus, they have been punished with the same penalties heretics receive. They have also been subjected to the humiliation of bodily mechanical intrusions being installed against their will. But you are different. The sin of worshipping a heretic is less severe than indulging in heresy itself. Therefore, as long as you are willing to repent and cleanse your mind of sin, we, the Hammer, are willing to demonstrate forgiveness. So I implore you, ye pitiable foolish sinners led astray by temptation, shake off the allure of that false miracle, and kneel before me. The confrontation came to a standstill. No one seemed willing to speak first. So you've all been under my spell or something all along. Who would have thought that? I tried cracking a joke to lighten the mood a little, but nobody laughed. Dante, that man, he just insulted you. He doesn't even see you as a human being. I mean, you guys call me Clockface all the time, too. That's not the same at all. Besides, I've never used that nickname. Ishmael grunted. So you think throwing some fancy words around would be enough to persuade us, eh? Listen here, faceplate, you're the one who needs a little shaking off. Seems to me your human brain's just as defective. You were given ample opportunity. You are no different from those we hung and nailed, after all. I am a hammer. I am a tool for the one who grips, tasked with the great mission of piercing false flesh of heretics. I shall bind thee to a nail, and lay thee down furthest from soil. For all he who shan't repent. Boy, when are you gonna finish your stupidly long taunt? Is not granted a rest beneath the earth. The ground shook violently as Guido finally fell. I couldn't help but wonder if he really did him in. They were too exhausted to bother him to take his helmet off to check his breathing. Sinclair was repeatedly jabbing the spear into a dead Inquisitor. The corpse was mangled beyond recognition, its blood and organs spilling all over the floor. Sinclair, calm down. He didn't seem to care about anything other than the body he was set out to destroy. Occasionally, pants of rage and tearful gasps were all that came out of his mouth. I'll kill them all. I knew stopping was the right thing to do, but no one dared to step in. It was evident he was too blinded by his ire to listen to us. I know a most simple way to bring him back to his senses! At that, Don Quixote suddenly jumped at Sinclair and pinned him to the ground. And then started laying into his face. One fish thrown after the other. Oh, shouldn't we do something? Leave him be. A couple calves tells him it isn't worth intervening. A cloud of dust rose from her ruthless beating. After a while, Don Quixote cut her onslaught. Pray tell, how dost thou feel now? Pardon my rash action. Oft I'd find myself overcome by further, rampaging much the same as a riderless horse. At such moments, mine old friends helped me come to myself by beating me senseless. 'Twas, at times, the only remedy to the fever that had overtaken me. Aha, so in that sense, Virgilius must be a good friend of yours too, right? Well, Tears plinked down Sinclair's bruised eyes. I'll get her for this. I'll go to my home and skewer that bitch! I'll skewer her for steak, and then... The rest of the sentence was overrun with pained sobbing. After a while of sniffling, Sinclair finally seemed to calm down as he put a hand to his face and started muttering. I lost everything overnight. Back then, they didn't parade their naval and hammer name around. You didn't see large groups like that in the open. But, at some point, people started calling themselves Hammer, started showing up in town, one by one, and... It's okay, kiddo. No need to push yourself. Rhodia gently pat him on the back. I still think that sometimes this is all just a bad dream, and I'm having trouble waking up. It always comes, every morning, before I open my eyes. Maybe this time, I'll wake up and see my familiar ceiling. Just maybe. After he said that, he broke into tears. It only made sense to wait for him to settle down. We entered the charred mansion, and Sinclair led us to the basement. When he opened the door, a long underpass leading to an unknown destination was revealed to us. You'd think there'd be a tunnel down here. So, my guess is right, then this passage should lead to the branch facility. Why are you keeping this shifty shop in your basement? It wasn't here before. What? How'd you know we ought to go to the basement? It's like how magnetic fields draw a compass needle northward. I was brought here by intuition. Isn't that what it is? And bringing us along to use the senses for the bows. Sorry, bows. Sinclair quietly looked at Faust. Instead of answering him, she strode past him and stood before the door. Judging from the material, the tunnel seems to have been made relatively recently. It was likely dug by N-Corp's expeditionary forces when they had occupied the town. It won't be a short trip, given that this passage was excavated for their use, but we will assuredly run into folks along the way. We should move once we are ready. Don't give me that look, Dante. I am simply not in the position to comment on it. The branch facility re-entry was not as well preserved as the one we visited in District 4. It seems N-Corp's Inquisitors have been using this place as their base for a while. Various torture devices and bits of flesh and machinery like those we saw in town came into my sight. Please stop. It hurts. It hurts so much. This one speaks of suffering. It must be a false cry. Pay it no mind. No, the pain. It's real. I swear. Did it not hurt to attach these impurities to your flesh? Did your conscience not scream as you rejected your humanity? Enough. This one is far too gone to repent. Does the absence of tears not say enough? This one is only pretending to confess. No, wait. I can shed tears. So I beg you, please. We can afford to verify, can we not? Indeed. For a genuine effusion of sorrow suggests humanity. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, we shall lift your eye. Their heretical depravity knows no bounds. They've gone so far as to make vile devices that mimic tear glands. We must see with our own true eyes that this isn't the case. We will let you go if you can confirm that your eye socket is indeed of flesh and blood. What? No! Stop! Huzzah! You heretics truly are like pests. Never alone, with the habit of constantly obstructing our great task. You are kindred creatures indeed. Roach shrugged when I looked back. What? I want to take charge for once. Well, I'll be. You've all gotten better at fighting, haven't you? A faint voice calls to us from the corner. Sod? Sod was resting against the wall, exhausted. She was covered in bites and gnawing by the Pecatula. Are you alright? Can you get up easy? Sod could barely talk, let alone stand on her feet. She slowly began to speak, each word filled with pain. Effie. How is he? Alive, yeah? You must have met outside. Everyone is hesitant to answer Saad's desperate question. How could any of us inform her of the morbid state Epi was in, and how we had to put him out of his misery? Yes, he's doing fine now. Honglu answered quietly. No sooner came forward to elaborate. That's enough chatter. It seems more of those oddities are crawling our ways. A swarm of Pekatula approached us. It was though our guilt about lying to her had gained physical form. I heard that familiar yet ominous sound of a nail being dragged across the floor from not too far away. Manager, if I may be forward, I would suggest soon including steps in your combat protocol to confirm that our foes are dead. The thought of his return makes what hair I have stand on end. Ye heretics must be exterminated. How long have you been? Guido approaches at a slower gait than before, but his gaze is firmly fixed on me. And the rest shall be purified. I needed to rewind the clock. Most of the sinners were either dead or gravely injured. There was no way an effectively non-combat manager and someone barely holding on to her life could take him. Please stop. Just then, Saad pulled out a gun. She pointed the barrel at me. I need you to keep still. And when we try to turn that clock, my gun will blow off your head. Saad? Don't look at me like that. I can't hear you. I can tell you this. They promise to let Epi go if I helped give her to you. I let too much time pass. Guido comes to me and grabs me by the neck. Then he grips my head tightly with his other hand, as if to crush it. Creaks and cracks and rattles ring inside my head. His fingers being inches away from shattering my head terrifies me. Is this it? Is this how I die? Could this have turned out differently if I was a better manager? I remember Heathcliff menacingly asking if there was a way to open up my head to see what's inside. Tough luck, Heathcliff. We'll be missing out on a good show. I heard a sound. It was the sound of something breaking. Fortunately for me, it didn't come from my head. Guido staggers. A nail was lodged in his back, and Sinclair was gasping for air behind him. He was nearly unconscious, lying still until moments ago. It's a miracle that he managed to get up and do this. I could escape Guido's grasp thanks to him. But Guido stood firm despite Sinclair's desperate attack. He collected his breath and slowly turned around. I see. You, too, are a filthy heretic. You're all insane. Out of your minds. The one who grips had once said, you could have become the one as well. What a shame. You gripped with the wrong direction. Sinclair, run away. I can't help you. No, I'm not running anymore. I like that answer, Sinclair. Gunfire filled my ears. The bullet struck Guido's head. You who bring ruination upon yourselves. The hammer shall continue to pursue you. With those words, Guido fell to the floor, motionless. And in that hush, I heard her handgun drop to the floor. Saad. Effie, he's dead, isn't he? You're all terrible liars. At least try to make it somewhat believable. Come on, Saad. Let's get out of here. You'll be okay. Just gotta stop the bleeding and get you patched up. Right, I'll get a tourniquet. Don't be stupid. I can hardly lift a finger. Besides, those Inquisitors will keep on coming, won't they? You guys need to keep moving down. I'll hold them off here. You should go. You can't do that! You said yourself you can hardly lift a finger. I can't let you watch our backs when you're in such a mess. Please? You know, in moments like this, you're supposed to nod at me and be on your way. I do care so much about the one who volunteered to stay behind. You can't just... Oh. You're making this pretty awkward. You know that? Here I thought I could have a cool farewell. Faust, please take these absolute dorks out of here. I'll make sure to give Virgilius your regards. No need. Just tell him to come visit. Say hello someday. You know what I mean? Of course. We headed to the next area, leaving Sad to die. We all stayed silent for a long while. You hear a beast crawling around somewhere? There is certainly the sound of something moving along the floor. Are those abnormalities? Take a closer look. There are abnormalities. See that emblem? Ishmael whispered softly to us. Upon closer inspection, I could spot the emblems she mentioned. They were once worn by Inquisitors. Ego corrosion has rested them. Being that nauseating state? I think it happened to me in battle once when I was on the verge of a breakdown. It's like I was being devoured. Although it's not quite like the consumption in a conventional sense, I do suppose it is a serviceable analogy, seeing as it eats away your essence. And, in observation like the last war, this place does not seem to be exclusively for torturing prosthesis users. It would be fair to say that the purpose is to induce corrosion onto oneself. Staring at those beings stumbling around. It evoked complex feelings that made me sigh. Is my artificial head really worth raging over, so much they transform themselves into something far more hideous than having a clock for a head? Or choosing to lose themselves, being possessed? What about when they claim the golden bough after going to all these lengths? Will it even be used for their benefit? Then it occurred to me. Am I really so different from these unsightly zealots? When I'm searching for these golden boughs without even knowing what they'll be used for? I see endless mounds of dead bodies. Inquisitors were raising their arms in unison as if to worship something. And there Cromer stood at the highest peak. She held out her hands in a prayer-like gesture towards the golden bough atop an altar. Fathoms of ego are already open. I see someone has resonated with the bough before us. What the hell are they up to? What are they raising their hands for? Prayer. What is this sound? This feels awfully familiar. Somehow annoyingly tingly. Unpleasant. It's a school bell. Our boy hated school that much, eh? The playful conversation seemed to lighten the mood of the sinners. Save for one. The one who should have been the owner of the fathom still showed unease. No, I don't want to show my memories. They're... Unfortunately, his plea held no power over the realm. Alright, everyone, listen up! The one who grips so declares. The one who grips so declares. Not only are those heretics disturbing our sacred rite, they're now after the offering that is rightfully ours to consecrate. Disgraceful and defiled are they. Disgraceful and defiled are they. Go forth and die! Do not fear your end! As long as the offering of gold is with us, you shall be brought back to life again and again. We shall fear not, for the one who grips is with us. We shall fear not, for the one who grips is with us. And, Sinclair, hurry over. You belong in my hands. No greater joy exists than to be wielded by the one who grips. No greater joy exists than to be wielded by the one who grips. Sinclair, did you bring the coin? The breaks between classes are always lively since everyone gathers around to talk. The adults would often watch us from afar and take this as a heartwarming sight. But there's something they don't realize. When you take a closer look, these merry interactions are brimming with envy, vainglory, pride, and guilt. Children are crafty creatures. I heard Rahul from the next class over is getting surgery on both arms by his father. Coming with some new tech that's never shown before. How cool's that? You know this actor on all magazine covers? Did I mention they're getting an eye transplant at my mom's clinic? The waitlist was so long they personally begged to be moved up. I grew more anxious with each blissful story my classmates tell. What can I share? They're expecting eyes pointed at me like they could turn into scoffing theirs at any moment. This is a secret, but... I swallowed nervously. Maybe they weren't asking me for a story after all. But I had to keep their curious eyes on me. I knew for sure I'd become an outcast the moment they looked away. My dad signed a contract with B Corp. They saw the technology he was working on and agreed to give their full support. My goodness, just what was I thinking when I spilled that? Out of the fear to be isolated from my peers, I carelessly spelled my own ruin. Maybe I was compelled by some child's urge, or an inherent desire to be recognized by the other students. Now, Emil, this is a confidential agreement for our business. You mustn't tell another soul. His insistent reminder echoed in my head. I could see his face. Whoa, is that for real, Sinclair? P-Corp? Like that wing? Wow, I'm jealous. I became the center of conversation in a split second. I could feel the stimulated eyes of other kids in class drawn to me. Superiority was pretty damn sweet. Guess I was driven by a depraved craving for attention. Oh right, Sinclair, your procedure's soon, isn't it? You know, prosthetics. Yeah, of course. They told me I'll get the newest model. They paid just a bit of attention to my face. They'd have noticed the reluctance in my expression. Fortunately, no one ever pointed it out. A massive wave of guilt eventually washed over me after our break was over and I was finally left alone. I was supposed to keep that a secret. What if Father finds out? Ah. Blood was leaking from my fingertip. Bad habit of biting my nails whenever I felt anxious ended up hurting me. I tried clipping them as short as I could to work breaking it. I never considered that I might bite into my skin instead. Watching blood droplets fall on the desk, I thought of something. Once I graduate, I'll get a prosthetic replacement, and then I'll never get hurt or see my blood ever again. But is that really... You're bleeding. Someone cast a shadow over my desk with a whimsical whistle. She was a classmate I rarely talked to, so I could barely remember her name. Flustered, I stuttered out my response awkwardly. What was that? Listen, what you said earlier, is it legit? Yeah, it's legit. I see. Your father must be a real big deal, isn't he? Yeah, I guess. Their unexpected flattery has me embarrassed. As if my father's greatness were somehow my own. Though, why did you make that face? Huh? You know, you were thinking it to yourself. She then lowers her head and whispers for only me to hear. That it's filthy. My eyes widen. Not just because I was surprised how she knew what I was thinking, but the fact that a total stranger like her had been able to figure out exactly what I'd been hiding. How did you know? I could have gotten away with it if I just denied her accusations, but tactlessly, I asked her that with a dumbfounded look on my face. Because I agree with you on that. You agree? You can see a lot from those who are on the same wavelength as you. Nice to meet you. I'm Cromer. Ever since then, Cromer and I became friends and talk often. As a household rule, my family used to have breakfast at the same table every morning. It was a pleasant time when our whole family would share stories and encouraging words. I liked those mornings. That rule was ever so kind and gentle to my heart. The natural, unchanging world that belonged to me. My world. That world began to feel alienating one day. Dave and my sister sat at the table after a prosthetic transformation was complete. My world had begun to change and my father's head was replaced with an unfamiliar contraption of steel circuits, wires. Our family breakfast no longer provided warmth and connection. It became an occasion of detachment where I talked less and less. I started to feel an inherent abhorrence for prosthesis. That's filthy. My heart couldn't accept the idea of replacing one's flesh and bones with something else, let alone the need for it. Why do we use prosthetic bodies? I carefully asked for an explanation, and the reply was simple. The human body, in its unmodified state, is too old-fashioned. It needs to be sustained with food, revitalized with sleep, lest it fail from fatigue, and injuries take a long time to heal. All this makes the human body incredibly inefficient. He concluded that prosthesis will grow more commonplace as time goes on, and ultimately become a regular part of our daily lives. I thought to myself, why don't I just fall behind the time set if that's what the mainstream will be? Though that wasn't an argument rooted in logic. Yo, Sinclair, you don't actually want to take the replacement procedure, do you? I nodded, without a word. But your parents sure wouldn't like it if you confessed that. Isn't it frustrating if there's nothing you can do about it? I nod again. What if I helped you out? You could live a free life with no worries about any of that junk. But how? That, you'll find out next time. In exchange, in return for helping you with your problem, you'll help me deal with a grudge of my own, too. One day, a new transfer student named Damien was placed into the class next to mine. He was surrounded by a crowd every time I saw him, but I got the sensation that he didn't feel attached to anyone around him. To me, he seemed as if he were almost floating in the air. He was aloof like that. Likewise, he didn't seem too interested in me either. That's how it was at first, at least. It happened during a boring engineering class. My eyes kept drifting away from the board, and before I knew it, they were looking out the window instead. Through that window, I saw him taking a walk. Like usual, he was surrounded by his fellow students, wearing a faint smile. Even expressions felt different from the kind someone his age should make. A smile that carried a mature yet solitary aura. Basking in the sunlight, he stroked his hair. Huh? I thought I caught a glimpse of some weird red thing on his forehead. Was I mistaken? Maybe it was the blinding sunlight reflecting off his skin. And then, I had the feeling I made eye contact with him. Some students were still chatting outside. As soon as I felt his gaze, I quickly averted my eyes and looked down at my desk. Ever since that strange incident, Damien started to talk to me in a friendly manner. Oddly enough, on the days when Damien approached me, Karma didn't come to greet me. Nevertheless, when she had a chance to, she'd come and make sure that I remembered our promise. Often I have this dream, said Claire. In it, I climb an endlessly long ladder, and everything down below comes into view. The nests, the back streets, the outskirts, all of it. And when I look beneath my feet, all the lights around the city, as if the end of all things had come. Fallen into silent death, empty of any motion. Indeed, it's the state of death itself. Damien, have you been to the outskirts? I whispered to him, frightened. He was talking about a forbidden place where no one could or should go. Sinclair, the world as people want to define it. It can't be divided into places where you shouldn't go. Do you think love and freedom can be found within the confines of this nest? Compared to here, life is much richer in the outskirts. There's something I've been pondering for a long time, and I thought that's maybe where I could find the answer. Whenever I spoke with Damien, I could feel my soul mature a little. I never mentioned my fears about the upcoming prosthetic procedure or my peculiar relationship with Cromer. Even though I wanted to know more about me, I was hesitant to share my secrets. I was too ashamed to bear my deeply hidden fears before him. And finally, the promised day had come. Yo, Sinclair, can you show me your basement? The words struck me out of nowhere, yet they were light as a feather. She asked me that as though it were something as simple as picking up an eraser, and I almost got myself agreeing to it. Why our basement exactly? If the rumor I just so happened to hear is right, her house is connected to a scandalous place. There's something I've got to check. But my parents... I couldn't even bring myself... I won't like it. I couldn't even bring myself to finish this humiliating sentence. If you let me check it out, Sinclair, I swear I'll keep that promise with you. Cross my heart. Just sneak me the basement key and I can navigate it just fine. Unable to detect a faint, familiar feeling hidden in her words, I slowly nodded. Thus, the world of evil began there, right in the middle of our house. After stealing the key without my parents noticing, I took Cromer to the basement of my estate as I promised. From there, she led me to a dirty air vent. Crawling in the unlit vent for a while, the dank, grimy odor and the sounds of small critters scuttling about assaulted my senses. My clothes were stained with filth, my throat was parched, and I was overcome with the desire to go back. That's when I noticed the smell my nose picked up had just changed from the stench so far. Can you feel it? Cromer whispered to me. There's something up ahead. This might have been the last chance I had to turn back. Might have been better to dissuade her of all kinds of sweet placations to leave and come back later. Even if I knew that empty flattery wouldn't work on her. Before I could try, a vial of curiosity overcame me. I was entering a world where villains belonged for the first time. For some reason, I gave up turning back. All while knowing in my heart I was just squandering my last chance. Oh, the loathsome sight I had to witness. It was something I couldn't even think to behold twice. Could monstrosity be an apt description for what I saw? It seemed too sentient for that, yet it is also decidedly wrong to say it was even remotely human. Shuddering in fear, I started to regret stepping into this world. Sinclair, idiot, look at yourself. Hoping by some miracle to get another chance right after you wasted it? Along with my regret, I had the feeling I'd never forget what I saw, till that day, till the moment I die. Cromer, I've got to go back. On the other hand, Cromer was enraptured. He was mesmerized by that scene, watching intently as though she'd made the discovery of a lifetime. Leaving Cromer all enamored to herself, I crawled backwards for the exit. Why is my basement connected to such a horrid place? How did Cromer know this? Why isn't she scared either? I could almost hear Cromer's spine-chilling whistle with the wind blowing from behind it. The very next day, Cromer came back to school as if nothing happened. Sinclair, thank you so much for showing me more precious things. Take these as my thanks. She handed 2 mysterious coins. Always keep them at your side. Got it? All I could do was nod. Since then, the things I saw in that event constantly haunted my mind, and then I began to consciously avoid Cromer. I could picture myself involuntarily trembling in terror just by looking at her. But there was something I needed to take back from her. The basement key. My parents could find out at any moment. 1 minute of sorting keys is all it would take. For the first time, I betrayed my parents living in a world of warmth. I was afraid my deviation from their world would end up becoming an irrefutable fact. Cromer, won't you give it back now? Give back what? The basement key. I mustered the courage to ask one day. Cromer burst into laughter, as though she didn't expect this from me. Intimidated, I slowly stepped back. Oh, and here I was wondering we were struggling so hard to say. Fine, you can have it, Sinclair. We don't need the key anymore. And besides, your grudge will most certainly bear fruit, Sinclair. You didn't want to give your procedure, right? Remember our promise? You fulfilled my grudge, so it's only fair I pay you back. Too absorbed in the relief of getting my key back to realize what Cromer was really talking about, and I cursed my ignorance for it. About what Cromer's "we" really meant. And about why she said it's not needed anymore, and how she was going to fulfill my grudge. I didn't think to question a single thing, and for that, I regret my inaction. I curse my foolishness. So you ended up giving Cromer the key. How do you know that? Damien had this ability to get a grip on things I never mentioned to him. When I asked him about it, he just said, "It's something you learn by carefully observing others," and didn't elaborate further. Sinclair, a series of much more painful events may await you in the future, but you mustn't give up. That pain will foster your growth into a beautiful being. No matter how complicated and perplexing those states seemed, Damien's mystic charm made them all sound convincing. Listening to his speech gave me hope that I could really grow. I was hopeful that I could become a worthy being. Yeah, but I don't really get it though, Damien. It's up to you to find out. Make sure you tell me your answer when you do. His voice was soft, his eyes imparted pleasantness, but I still felt compelled to do as he said. His eyes must have held some kind of power. Disarming those who make eye contact with him, sapping them of mental strength. But if that's the case, why didn't he warn me? It's something I still ask myself to this day. It was Christmas Eve, and the whole town was filled with jingles and joy. Under the blessing of the Holy Night, I was planning to confess my sin to my family. I wanted to tell them I made the foolish mistake of stealing the basement key, and I'd go back to being a good son. That short time I spent away from the right path was agonizing. I learned how peaceful and fulfilling the world I had been living in truly was. My family might be surprised at first, but I'm sure they'd welcome me back into their paradise. That was how it should have been. However... Huh? I was supposed to hear a robot dog greet me when I stood at the gate, but my home was covered in silence and darkness. When I walked inside, I was confronted with the fallen paradise. Sinclair... Run... Sinclair... Someone smashes my father's head. It's a disturbing individual wearing rusty silver armor. How unsightly these non-humans to still admire humanity and display false emotion. Let those impure things be, Guido. It's their survival instincts kicking in. Or should I say, they're scared of shutting down. Pieces of metal, flesh, and blood fly into the air before hitting the floor. Sinclair! You're here! Cromer approaches, carrying a hammer stained with blood and flesh. Oh, this thing? Ever since I was little, I couldn't stand being involved with filthy affronts to humanity like these. Because I'm a humanitarian who loves all things human! Now, imagine how it feels to face the son of a pack of those affronts to humanity. Just what should I do with you, Sinclair? My legs have long given up. My mouth couldn't move. It was as if my whole body refused to cooperate. I saw Cromer standing right before me. I couldn't dare to look up. Terror kicked in with the realization that she was so close to me, and my eyes shut themselves tight. I thought that same hammer that crushed my father, mother, and sister would now come from me was unbearable. But nothing happened. Confused, I carefully opened my eyes and lifted my head. Cromer was watching me, making a perfect smile, just like the one she made when she first came to my desk and told me her name. Well, you are my hero, Sinclair. She then reaches into the pocket of my school shirt and takes out a coin. It's one of the two she handed me the other day. From now on, you'll doubt everything, be anxious of everything, and live in ever-constant terror as your memories of me haunt you. And, when the time comes, I will call for you. Hey, someone take this kid to safety. Lay a finger on him and I'll make you regret it. Amidst the piercing noise, storms of footsteps and disorientation, I lost consciousness. When I came to my senses, I found myself in an alleyway at midday, heated by the sun. I stayed there on the ground, dazed and confused. I could see a haze rise from the surface. Sinclair, a crack has been made in your world. I feel like I was starting to understand what the strange feeling I got from Damien was. I always found it weird how I never heard his footsteps. Why does everything arrive in desolate silence, as if it belongs to no world at all? The loss of my family, the world of evil, all this despair, and you, too. Are you scared, Sinclair? He spoke to me. He had the eyes of a person who saw through everything, and the attitude of someone who predicted the series of events. He didn't even wait for me to reply, like he knew what I was going to say. One day, you'll break it all together and soar. And I wish to see you completely bare. He responded as if he already knew the answer I was hesitating on. While those words seemed to radiate warmth, I felt a certain chill, like biting into the cold insides of a half-cooked turkey. I couldn't help but fall unconscious again. Well, Sinclair, were you able to find an answer in your heart's path? Cromer. Don't give me that look. It's not even time yet. You're making me want to kill you. No, I should abstain. I can't let immediate entertainment distract me from more important things. Sinclair, the only way to retrieve the golden bough that's begun to resonate is... I know. Even if it weren't for our mission. I'll still tear that bitch to pieces and drink up the remains. Oh, Sinclair, when did you learn to act so tough? That's not like you at all. What a riot. Still, well, I guess you've made some friends since then. You won't run away this time, will you?
시간 끌 것 없이 모두를 채워버리죠. 무상한 목숨. 불끈을 지원할 뿐.
순순히 오라를 받으시죠.
불과 위약. 마감해진 다리. 내가 눈에 새겨주지. 이 전투는 승리할 거야.
전부 잡아드리죠.
딜리버리 캐리어 출력 감사드립니다.
The sinners were fatigued and damaged, some already dead. As opposed to us, Cromer stands triumphantly. She reaches for the inside of Sinclair's coat in what seems to be like a declaration of his fate. Now then, it's time, Sinclair. I'll be taking the second coin, your last chance. Why are you doing this to me? Why me? Sinclair, do you want to know why I gave you back the basement key when you asked? Listen close. It's not like I'd made my discovery, or baked a copy of it. It's because you were my key. You see, I happen to know of a way to take a peek at the futures that might come true. I saw one amongst them when you and I traveled from nest to nest, slaughtering heretics together all around the city. Even though you were raised by heretics bearing revolting metal bodies, part of you still felt disgusted by them. Funny, isn't it? You would stab them in the head with your halberd. Don't you lie to me. While I smashed their heads with a hammer. Stop it! In that world, he looked like the freest person in the universe, transcending everything. No. You're lying! Whether I'm lying or not. Cromer suddenly cracked a wry laugh and stopped moving. The golden bow! The golden bow on the altar resonated with her crackle, and began to grow brighter. Then... Ah, it's begun. At last, my final grudge will be fulfilled. Massive flesh engulfs her lower half. Even from the hideous organic growth, bundles of ambiguous appendages stretch outward in countless numbers, as if desire and madness were made manifest. Come, Sinclair. Rip me up and chew me down. If you can, that is.
제가 지역회의 플루들이 차는 의미 없는 살생을 지향합니다. 배달을 즉시 수행하여 귀하의 목숨을 보장하십시오.
전부 잡아드리죠.
새겨주지.
Fleshy hill exuded potent acid, melting Sinclair's legs. All the other sinners were being dissolved by caustic secretion, too. He trips and hits the ground. No, perhaps I should say he was thrown off his feet. In spite of that, he still crawls towards Cromer. Yes, that's it. Hurts, doesn't it? You're filled with rage, aren't you? Accept it all. Welcome it with open arms. And watch me. Watch my glorious body closer to the purest form of humanity than ever before. This flesh here, the sheer, unmatched strength of purity. Ah, Sinclair, look at how human you are. You could become like me too. Oh, you're... Sinclair, since you were scared all along, weren't you? You lost your family and had to ride a bus with these strangers, forced to do things you didn't want. You knew in your heart you didn't belong there, right? Didn't you want to run? Didn't you want to quit it all? Am I wrong? I swear, Join me, Sinclair. Don't avoid this. Embrace it. Complete my grudge. The arm Sinclair was using to hold his weapon was growing limp by the second. He nevertheless continues in Cromer's direction. You must accept the pain. Only when we have transcended suffering itself could we be reborn. Bloat the flesh, spill the blood, adding on the most human things each second. To the purest world where impurities plaguing the city of all folks have been filtered out. Mama. Papa. Sis. Sinclair vacantly mutters, looking at the faces of his now dead fellow sinners. I couldn't leave him like this. Sinclair! Listen to me! I'm embarrassed it took me this long to take action. It was better late than never. Act like the manager I am. I know you think a lot. There's a lot going on in your head you can't share with others. That's how he was. Worried that he might be a burden, he constantly put his mind through doubts and ruminations, most of which he never let on about. He's chewed up many a thought in the form of guilt. My family died because of me. I said stuff I really shouldn't have. Exactly. It's all your fault, so embrace it. That's the way to become wholly reborn. Follow me, and rest in my grip. Don't listen to her. You have to see, look at her, observe her carefully. Alas, my voice didn't seem to reach him. Ah. Sinclair's weapon leaves his hand and lands on the ground. His advance for Cromer has stopped. Yep, looks like this is the end for us. I could feel my body melting into the mound. I know I die trying to play proper manager sooner or later. But, Sinclair, I have to tell him more. I have to tell him that Cromer's spewing heap of lies, threats, hypocrisy, and exaggeration. Every nerve in my body is screaming that I shouldn't give up on him. I can feel the burning pain of my melting body. Look! Look closely! Sinclair! Not with your eyes, but with your heart. I screeched at Sinclair. Only then will you see what matters most. Only then will you see what matters most. In that moment, someone quietly appeared. And when you can see things that matter most, you won't have to stifle yourself with shallow threats or cheap tricks. Isn't that right, Sinclair? He moved with grace and airiness, as though he floated in the air. He seemed lighter than anyone else, unbound by anything. Contrary to his impression of freedom from all worldly longings, an oppressive air seemed to accompany every step he took. And with just a wave of his right arm, Cromer's upper body vanished in a clean cut. I think it was supposed to say Ramus Aureus Receptus there, but it just didn't for some reason. Anyways. Damien. You've changed your own fate, Sinclair. Right now, you're neither a coward nor a hero, but you've yet to let go of your fears completely. I've said it before, haven't I? When you fear someone, that's because you gave them power to have control over you. That's right. And I don't want anyone else to domineer over you. Which is why I got rid of that Cromer. The man referred to as Damien then started to walk. He took airy steps as though he were embarking on a light trip. The world is about to head for a new birth, and only few individuals can get there. Sinclair, you're one of them. Sinclair fainted before he could answer. Damien slowly made his way over to me. Cromer attempted to become a god, like those which people of the past were said to believe in. Sinclair almost became her stepping stone. In the end, though, one has to break an egg on their own. Cromer put in quite a lot of effort, doing this and that to create a throwback to the time when Sinclair lost his first coin. Irregardless of the fact that Christmas is still a while away. It's ironic that they resorted to creating false imagery, something they loathe so deeply, don't you think so? What are you talking about? Who are you? A pleasure to meet you, Dante. So, you're the adult who will condition Sinclair at the moment. As for who I am, and as for what I was talking about, you'll see in due time. Huh? When Sinclair takes flight with unshakable faith in the power of the heart. Right. And he becomes one with beautiful stars. That is when I'll return. Take good care of Sinclair until then, Dante. You can hear me? I can hear all sorts of chirps and trills, Dante. It's only natural that I hear your voice. And as always, what matters most is something you can't see or hear. The boy with the blue scarf vanished without notice. After that, the mountain began to melt away. They dissolved into mixtures of flesh and mud. With them, a single golden bough appeared before me, spreading its warm light. Sinclair's world was gradually melting along with the hills. I excruciatingly dragged what's left of my upper body across the floor to reach Sinclair. He was still breathing. And so was I. I figured I should be able to turn the clock. Thus, that means I'm still their manager, and I should act like one. Plus, as I learned in my dying moments, I have to strive to become a more sensible manager. With that, I need to tell him. It might have been your fault, Sinclair. But that's okay, really. It's one small mistake. One anyone can make. Don't beat yourself so much up about it. I pat him on the back with my half-melted right arm. Sinclair doesn't reply. To be truthful, trying to identify someone to blame on this would be a never-ending endeavor. From each of us going and carrying our sins on the bus, to the loss of my hidden memory, accompanied by an involuntary appointment as the executive manager, at the root of all this, I might find no one but myself to blame. Staying bound by the fact, though, will only keep us from taking our next steps. We found them! I can hear multiple footsteps approaching our horribly incapacitated team. Virgilius must have figured we'd get into a mess and called the after team to scoop us off the ground. This looks like the individual we seek. Shall I inject it now? The others can be revived as long as this one lives. Focus all resources on destroying their body. I felt the jab in my shoulder, then a strange sensation enveloped parts of my body that had melted off. We were provided 3 HP ampules. Do I use all 3 on them? Keep it on the regeneration process and use them at your discretion. Lucky scavengers. They're rolling in luxury thanks to having a color on their team. One with a friend in K-Corp with that, too. Action. Firm. Added. The voices around me start to fade. Sinclair's bawling lamentation dimly rings throughout the emptiness. Our third mission marked its somber end in dismal defeat. Oh, okay, never mind. It wasn't meant to play earlier. I don't know why they did that. What? Even though we recovered the golden bough, we lost. On the other hand, the bus was more vibrant than usual, possibly out of everyone's attempts to disregard the depressing outcome. I bought enough chicken kebabs for all of you to have one, so if anyone didn't get theirs, go and put your detective caps on by yourselves. Such curious cuisine. What's the intention of skewering chicken meat with a stick? I may be familiar with this kind of dish, a kochi of the duck variety. A sweet smell, the kind Mephi likes. Stimulated, Karen revved the engine. Karen was humming another familiar tune. I could recognize the song this time. Karen, isn't Christmas still a long ways off? Don't put a damper on Karen's fun, buck guy. If Karen feels like it's Christmas, then that's that. But, come on, I called you by your name for once! Well, why don't you settle the score by giving her a bus girly, then? You know, tit for tat and all that? Virgilius was watching the scene unfold, leaving his food to cool and hardly taking a bite even though he was the one who bought it all. Perhaps he's gone quiet because of Karen's song. It does come to mind that he said she was going through a tunnel. And then, I turned my gaze to Sinclair, who was awkwardly laughing amongst the other sinners. We're going through a long tunnel. Then, what we do is wait for the morning to arrive, right? What was that about, Dante? Drop the goofy poetry and have a kebab. Come on, say ah. Our manager has no mouth. Then executive manager has no need for a mouth if they're perfectly capable of commanding us without a word. Do keep that in mind. Golly, don't you ever get tired of licking their boots so clean, Otis? Oi, got more of this scrun? It's peak. Ayo, BG, give me a light. Thought I wouldn't know what that's short for. Thought about giving a speech to the sinners about how this fruitful yet unsuccessful mission changed my mindset, but I soon shelved the idea. I told Sinclair not to let a failure of the moment bind him, after all. Instead, I resolved to make up for this less than ideal outcome in our next mission. May I have thy intention read? Sir Virgilius. What? I do believe I have acted with sufficient caution, as you so hath warned. Thusly, if I may, would you allow me to lay claim upon a skewer? Go right ahead. As Don Quixote's excited jubilation adds a layer of vigor to the already lively bus, the message I couldn't speak, but one I'm sure had been conveyed in one way or another, spreads between us. And so the morning came.
손엔 잿빛 먼지뿐 쉼없이 달려왔던 나를 죄어오던 시간들 이조차 그리워질까 먼 날 언젠가는 돌이켜볼 기억 속에 미소 질 수 있기를 시간과 이제는 나가야 할 때 자신을 태워 사라져가는 촛불과 닮아 있구나 숨고를 새도 없이 떠밀려 던져진 날 속에 내 길을 갈 수 있기를 먼 날 언젠가는 돌이켜볼 기억 속에 미소 질 수 있도록 멀리 멀리 날아가고 싶어 밤하늘의 새처럼 별에 닿을 수 있게 이 밤 또다시 찾아오겠지만 괜찮아 다 사라지네 괜찮아